Hello, this is our custom video effects and consulting informational video. It lasts about 14 minutes and is arranged as follows. First, I show you some samples of my visual effects. Next is information for any attraction considering hiring Jon Hyers Visual Effects for custom work, and some brief examples of some of the work done for previous clients. Next, I show you some more samples of my visual effects work, and then tell you a few stories about some of the custom video requests received over the years, so you can understand how specific job requirements can affect the cost. Museums, historic attractions, and haunted attractions can benefit enormously by the addition of video projection. By incorporating video projected effects into your scenes or exhibits, you make them come alive. Video projection effects are the closest to magic you can get. With a simple video projector, you can now add any element found in a movie special effect and transform it into the real world. If your attraction is still using rigid mannequins to depict the scene, consider doing a new scene using projected characters who will look a lot more realistic than a mannequin. One of the best advantages of a good projected effect is how cool it looks to the audience. They are stunning and entertaining and just plain fantastic to watch, because it's like taking the visual effects from a big movie and then projecting them into your attraction or theme park. If you've ever dreamed of adding the elements of video projection into your attraction, if you're ready to let the video projector do the magic, the quotation process is really pretty simple. It starts with a clear communication of exactly what you want for an effect. I start by asking you for a written idea or outline with any sketches you can supply or any plans that you can think of. If you can only tell me, John, we want to do video projection effects but we don't know what, then I might suggest that you watch some of our YouTubes to get some ideas. Videos are worth thousands of words, so if you need ideas, I can get you started by reviewing some of our stock DVD YouTubes. You can also provide us with information about your attraction, such as its history, and I can usually suggest something based on that. Generally, the way the process works, once you communicate with me what your basic plan is, then I will actually draw some sketches, some actually hand-drawn sketches to show some ideas of where projectors could be, the kinds of scenes we could do, based on my many years of experience.
Duplicato cranio.
Kind of how it worked with some of our bigger consulting jobs. We've got one we did in a museum in Russia. And basically what happened There was 14 effects, and some of these were laying the groundwork for some totally new technology we've come up with, the virtual 3D. So I took the artwork that they provided me, which was historical photos of the actual events that we were going to depict, and then I drew out sketches that showed my ideas how we would actually achieve what it is they wanted to do. We did one for Top Secret, is the name of the attraction, Wisconsin Dells, and there, a pretty simple goal, they wanted a colonial character. So we used stock costume, and basically the colonial character needed to walk in a couple of places, and so that was a very easy effect to achieve. Another one we did was for the Volo Auto Museum, and for that particular one, they wanted the history of their museum, which is supposed to be haunted, told by sort of a ghost guide named Vincent. So we took an actor that we knew that fit the bill for what they wanted the person to look like, rented some historical costume from Twin Cities Magic and Costume Store, and he basically read the script with a teleprompter. Now they have a video of this ghost character who appears on the wall in one of the main rooms of their museum and tells the story of the property. Before we quote an exact cost and create a contract, we need to know every single important detail about your project's requirements. Let's say, for example, of discussion, you're planning to do Paul Revere. Do you need an exact clone match, a twin, somebody that looks exactly like Paul Revere did? Or can an actor that looks relatively close suffice? Do we need to have his exact outfit as a costume, or can some rental outfit suffice? So what's the difference between a customer request for a new DVD effect or a major custom job? Well, there's a lot of differences. I get ideas all the time from people who buy the DVDs. They call up or email and say, well, why don't you do this? And they have some idea of what they would do. And these often come from an avid holiday decorator, whether it's Christmas or Halloween. And the requests people make vary greatly between expensive and cheap. Somebody once suggested, why don't you do Mrs. Santa? Well, that's not a real big one, really. I mean, we can do something like that because it involves a character, a couple of backgrounds, but really that's an inexpensive one. Here's a story on one that somebody suggested. On the surface, it was very simple. It seemed fairly inexpensive. They said, we need the ghost of an old man being pushed by a nurse in a wheelchair up to a window. So in our case, it's being pushed up to the camera, and then you would rear project this in a window. Doesn't sound too difficult, does it? Well, then came the fine details of the project. It had to be a certain model of 1890s wheelchair, and a certain nurse's outfit, and a certain clothing worn by the guy in the wheelchair. We have now added possibly $5,000 to the job, depending on how long it takes us to find or build that particular wheelchair. The project got abandoned because the client suddenly realized he was going to be in it for several $1,000s in order to exactly match what he imagined. Now here's an example of one that was done very simply and easily fit within a small budget. Ghost children. singing and dancing in a circle. So here is the effect that we originally done, and it's just ghost children. Very easy to do. It wasn't very expensive, cost less than $1,000. There was no specific requirements by the client, no specific costume requirements, just whatever I thought would make them look ghostly. Well, we've since used that effect, and it's now superimposed into a cemetery in Ireland. Looks absolutely fantastic. So that's an example of an effect that really doesn't cost a lot. Most custom requests I get are for a video that only that person is going to want. The wheelchair one is a good example. I cannot, in my imagination, picture too many people that would be able to make use of that. Well, the ghost children, on the other hand, that's been very popular. That has since been resold many times. Our Ghost Boys DVD, that was an original one-time customer request. Somebody that had a bit of money and they wanted a ghost boy for a party. So they paid us to do it and then gave us the rights to resell it later. And it's been extremely popular. So it really all depends on what it is you suggest, whether I can justify spending the money to do it. Here's another one. Somebody wanted the ghost of a historic character walking and saying some specific script that they were going to write. That's not horribly difficult. Guess who they wanted for the actor? Had to be Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is a great actor, but he's also very expensive. That would have added, easily, $1 million to the cost of the video. Well, guess what? It didn't get made. I wonder why. It all depends on how much money you are able to spend. Remember my story on Harrison Ford. The same effect can cost $1 million more with the right actor. In the end, how much money you can spend is usually the deciding factor on these fine details. Now, there's 1,000 ways for us to get started. For now, if you think you want to do a custom effect, contact me and we'll start talking.